My channel, The Coins World.
Welcome back to my channel, The Coins World. Today we are going to dive deep into the history of the Philippine 25 Sentimo coin from the year 1979. A coin that may look small in size but carries a wealth of stories, heritage, and national pride. This is not just about money. It is about art, identity, and history minted into a simple yet powerful piece of metal. By the end of this journey, you will see this coin in an entirely new light. The Philippine 25 Sentimo of 1979 belongs to the Ang Bagong Lipunan series, which was introduced in the mid-1970s. This series was born out of political change during the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos, whose administration launched the New Society movement, or Bagong Lipunan, to symbolize reform and transformation in the country. Every coin of this era carried those ideals, and the 25 Sentimo played a vital role in reflecting that message. On the obverse of the 1979 25 Sentimo coin, we see the portrait of Juan Luna, one of the most important figures in Philippine history. Luna was not just a painter but also a patriot, who contributed greatly to the fight for independence. His most famous painting, Spoliarium, won international acclaim and became a symbol of Filipino struggle and resilience. Featuring his portrait on the coin, honored both his artistic genius and his role as a revolutionary. The reverse side of the coin proudly bears the national seal, along with the denomination 25 Sentimo and the words Republica ng Pilipinas. It is straightforward yet powerful, symbolizing national pride, unity, and sovereignty. Every Filipino who held this coin carried with them not just a piece of currency but a piece of their identity. The material used for this coin was nickel brass, which gave it a golden tone that made it distinct from smaller denominations. Its bright, metallic shine was designed not only for practical use but also to create an appealing and durable coin that could withstand circulation. In the late 1970s, inflation and economic challenges were beginning to affect daily life in the Philippines, but coins like the 25 Sentimo remained crucial in small transactions. Jeepney rides, candies, and small store purchases often required coins of this size, making it one of the most frequently used denominations of its time. The inscription Ang Bagong Lipunan is key to understanding this coin. It was not just decoration, it was propaganda, a constant reminder of the government's vision of a new society. Each exchange of this coin in markets, stores, and buses echoed that political message. For ordinary Filipinos, however, this coin was more than politics. It was part of daily survival, part of saving small change, and part of teaching children the value of money. Generations of kids in the 70s and 80s South grew up saving these 25 Sentimo coins in their little coin banks. The artistry of the coin lies in its balance of function and symbolism. Juan Luna's detailed engraving gave the coin character, while the simplicity of the reverse side maintained its official dignity. It combined art history and practicality in one small object. 1979. The Bagong Lipunan coins were widely circulated and well recognized. They became symbols of the era, and today they serve as numismatic windows into the past. Collectors see them as representations of political history, as much as economic tools. Interestingly, coins from 1979 are often found in varying conditions. Some are worn from heavy use, while others were preserved in drawers and collections, maintaining their golden glow. This variation makes them fascinating for collectors who treasure both pristine and well-worn examples. The value of this coin in modern times depends heavily on condition. While a circulated 25 Sentimo from 1979 may have only sentimental value, uncirculated or proof-like examples can attract collectors who are eager to complete their Bagong Lipunan series sets. When it comes to nostalgia, this coin holds a special place. Filipinos who lived through the late 70s and early 80s often recall these coins vividly, associating them with school days, street vendors, and the simplicity of life. Before modern currency redesigns, the 25 Sentimo of 1979 also demonstrates the blending of culture and governance. Juan Luna represented the artistic and revolutionary spirit, while the Bagong Lipunan inscription reinforced the political ideology of the time. It was a coin that spoke on multiple levels. Many historians argue that coins like this are political artifacts as much as economic instruments. They preserve the philosophies of the leaders who commissioned them, and decades later, they provide us with insight into the mindset of the era. Globally, coins like the 25 Sentimo of 1979 attract collectors who are fascinated with Southeast Asian numismatics. While not rare in the Philippines, finding them abroad in excellent condition, can be a challenge, raising their desirability for Filipinos overseas. Owning one of these coins is like holding onto a piece of their homeland. It is a token that brings back memories of childhood, family, and culture even thousands of miles away from the Philippines. The coin also represents resilience in another sense. Despite inflation, regime changes, and economic upheavals, coins like the 25 Sentimo continued to serve their purpose, bridging communities and generations. In terms of design, the golden brass alloy was carefully chosen, not just for aesthetics but also for durability. Even today, many surviving pieces still carry their shine, proof of the material's long-lasting quality. The 25 Sentimo of 1979 was part of a complete set of coins that collectively defined an era. Together they created a unified image of the Philippines' identity under the Bagong Lipunan movement. And individually, they highlighted heroes like Juan Luna. Even though its face value was small, the coin carried enormous symbolic weight. It reminded people of national pride, cultural achievement. New design series, NDS, introduced by the Banko Sentral and Pilipinas BSP in 2000. This coin is significant because it marked a transition in Philippine coinage, both in terms of design and symbolism, as it honored two important figures in Philippine history. The 2005 issue continued this tradition, circulating widely during a period of rapid economic and social change in the Philippines. The obverse side of the 2005 10 Piso coin features the portraits of Andres. Bonifacio is shown in the foreground, symbolizing courage and action. Mabini is placed beside him, representing intellect and wisdom. The inclusion of both men highlights the balance of revolutionary spirit and leadership needed for the country's independence struggle. The reverse side carries the BSP logo, introduced in 1993 when the Banko Sentral and Pilipinas was re-established under Republic Act 7653. It also features the coin's denomination and year of minting. In this case, 2005. The coin has a reeded edge which helped prevent counterfeiting and made it easier to distinguish from other denominations. The 2005 10 Piso coin was a bimetallic coin which made it unique and harder to counterfeit. The outer ring was made of copper-nickel. The inner core was made of aluminum bronze. This bimetallic structure gave the coin a distinct two-tone color, silver on the outside and golden yellow at the center. First introduced in 1983, the NDS underwent several changes to reflect modern minting standards. By 2000, the BSP released the bimetallic 10 Piso coin to replace the 10 Peso banknote, which was more costly to produce and wore out faster than coins. The decision to feature two heroes instead of one was groundbreaking. Bonifacio represented the masses and the call to arms, while Mabini represented the guiding principles of the revolution. Their partnership on the coin symbolizes unity in the fight for freedom. 2005. The Philippines was undergoing economic challenges, such as inflation and rising oil prices. The BSP relied on durable coinage to reduce printing costs of banknotes. The 10 Piso coin was heavily circulated in daily commerce, particularly in transportation, fairs, food markets, and small transactions. The coin became widely associated with public transportation fares, as jeepney and bus fares often required 10 Peso coins. It also became a favorite among collectors because of its bimetallic structure and historical depictions. One of the major issues in the early years of the 10 Piso coin was counterfeiting. Fake versions of the coin became common in the early 2000s. The BSP issued advisories warning the public to check details such as clear portraits of Bonifacio and Mabini, proper alignment of the BSP logo, the correct metallic ring and core colors. The 2005 issue maintained these security standards to ensure authenticity. 2005 10 Piso coin circulated heavily for years. By 2018, the BSP released a new version of the 10 Piso coin. Full history of the Philippine 2 Piso coin, issued in 1985. A coin that does not only hold metal and face value, but also carries with it a deep connection to one of the most crucial eras in the Philippines' history. The 2 Piso of 1985 is not just a piece of currency. It is a reminder of political struggles, economic changes, and the strong symbolism that coins often embody in times of national transformation. The 2 Piso coin was part of the Flora and Fauna series, which was introduced in the early 1980s to highlight the Philippines' rich biodiversity and cultural heritage. However, the 1985 issue stands out because it was released during a time of immense social and political upheaval in the country. The mid-1980s were marked by the last years of the Ferdinand Marcos regime, a time when the economy was fragile, inflation was climbing, and public dissatisfaction was reaching its peak. Against this backdrop, coins like the two Piso became more than money, they became tools of national identity and silent witnesses of history. One of the most striking details about the 2 Piso 1985 coin is its obverse, which features the portrait of former President Ferdinand Marcos himself. Unlike other denominations that honored revolutionary heroes, presidents of the Republic, or national martyrs, the 2 Piso was one of the most politically charged coins of its time. It was designed to reinforce the image of Marcos as the strong leader of the Philippines, placing his face in the everyday transactions of millions of Filipinos. Every time a person used this coin, they were reminded of the political order of that era. This makes the 1985 2 Piso not only a numismatic item but also a political statement minted in metal. On the reverse side, the coin carried the seal of the Republic of the Philippines, reaffirming its sovereignty and national pride. But its symbolic weight was even greater, because by 1985, the people were already on the verge of major change. Within just a year, the country would see the EDSA People Power Revolution of 1986, where Filipinos from all walks of life united to peacefully overthrow the Marcos regime. Thus, this coin exists at the edge of two eras, the final stage of dictatorship and the dawn of democratic restoration. The 2 Piso of 1985 was minted in copper nickel, a durable alloy chosen to withstand circulation. However, collectors today value it far beyond its composition. Because of its association with the Marcos years, many see it as a relic of a past that shaped the Philippines' destiny. For historians and coin enthusiasts, holding this coin is like holding a piece of the final chapter of a regime that defined an entire generation. Economically, the mid-1980s were a difficult period for the Philippines. The peso had weakened, prices of goods were climbing, and ordinary citizens faced hardships in their daily lives. In such times, a 2 Piso coin carried greater significance, as every peso and centimo mattered. 1985 was a turning point in Philippine history. The country was in the final years of the Marcos regime, and the economy, politics, and national spirit were all facing challenges. Central Pilipinas continued its mission of minting coins that would carry the nation's identity. The 2 Piso coin of 1985 emerged not only as money but also as a cultural artifact reflecting the tensions and aspirations of the time. At the heart of the coin's design was Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution. Born in Tondo in 1863, Bonifacio led the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary movement against Spanish colonial rule. His inclusion on the 2 Piso coin symbolized bravery, resistance, and the spirit of independence for Filipinos. In 1985, seeing Bonifacio's face on their currency was a reminder that their history was defined by resilience, even in difficult times. On the reverse of the coin, the image of the Bangus milkfish captured the essence of Filipino livelihood. The milkfish, long considered the national fish, represented abundance, sustenance, and the agricultural backbone of many coastal communities. By featuring the Bangus, the coin reminded people of the vital role of natural resources and fisheries in feeding the population and driving local economies. The Flora and Fauna series, to which this coin belonged, was more than just a redesign. It was a project that showcased national pride. Previous coins had primarily highlighted political leaders or symbols of statehood, but this series balanced the historical with the natural, emphasizing that the Philippines' wealth was not just in its heroes, but also in its biodiversity. The 2 Piso coin thus became part of a wider narrative that tied Filipinos to their land and environment. Technically, the coin was crafted in nickel brass, giving it a golden-like sheen. This metallic choice ensured durability in circulation and also made the 2 Piso coin visually distinct. With a diameter of 38 millimeters, it was among the larger coins in use, giving it a sense of value and weight in the hand. Its solid construction made it less prone to wear, which is why many collectors can still find well-preserved examples today. Another fascinating detail is the limited minting period of this denomination. Unlike smaller coins that were produced in huge quantities for decades, the 2 Piso coin of 1985 was struck in fewer numbers and circulated for a relatively short time. By the early 1990s, newer designs replaced it, making the 1985 edition a snapshot of a specific historical moment rather than a long-lasting feature of everyday commerce. From a collector's standpoint, The 1985 Piso holds special allure. Coins in uncirculated or proof-like condition can command impressive prices among numismatists, especially those who specialize in Philippine coinage. Its association with the Flora and Fauna series and its depiction of Bonifacio, a national hero, further enhance its desirability. Many collectors, belongs to the Ang Bagong Lipunan coin series, which was introduced under the administration of President Ferdinand Marcos in 1975. This series was not just ordinary currency. It symbolized the government's vision of a new society during the martial law era, and the coins carried nationalistic themes that reflected Philippine heritage and identity. The obverse of the 1984 Piso coin features the bust of Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution and founder of the Katipunan. His portrait signifies bravery, nationalism, and the struggle for independence from Spanish rule. Around his image is the inscription, Republica ng Pilipinas, along with the year 1984. The reverse side of the coin carries the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, Banko Sentral ng Pilipinas. This design element emphasizes the authority of the central bank in issuing currency and maintaining economic stability. Composition and specifications. The Piso coin from 1984 was struck in copper-nickel, a durable alloy commonly used in mid-20th century coinage. It was a large-sized coin, measuring 38 millimeters in diameter and weighing 17 grams, making it one of the largest circulating coins of the period. Because of its size and weight, it was sometimes compared to commemorative coins rather than regular circulation currency. The release of the 1984 Piso coin came at a politically turbulent time in Philippine history. The early 1980s saw growing economic challenges, debt crises, and widespread dissent against the Marcos government. The coin thus became more than just money. It was part of a broader effort to maintain symbols of nationalism and continuity amidst uncertainty, circulation, and use. Although it was legal tender, the Piso coin was not as widely used as lower denominations because of its bulky size. Many Filipinos found it inconvenient for everyday transactions, and it often ended up being stored, collected, or used for ceremonial purposes. Its limited circulation contributed to its survival in good condition among collectors today. Transition and demonetization. The 1984 Piso coin was among the last of the large-sized coins in Philippine currency. By the late 1980s and into the 1990s, the central bank began reducing the sizes of coins to make them more practical for daily use. Eventually, this coin was demonetized in the 1990s, meaning it ceased to be legal tender, though it retained significant historical and collector value, collectability, and value. Today, the 1984 Piso coin is considered a numismatic collectible, especially when found in uncirculated or proof condition. Its large size, historical connection to Andres Bonifacio, and issuance during a politically important era make it a desirable piece for coin collectors in the Philippines and beyond. Depending on condition, it may fetch higher than face value prices in the collector's market. The Philippine 10 Sentimo coin from 1974, a small denomination coin that holds far more history than its size suggests. Though worth just a fraction of a peso in circulation, this coin is a living reminder of a transformative era in Philippine economic, political, and cultural history. By the end of this video, you'll see how this little coin became a part of the everyday life of millions of Filipinos and why collectors today find it so intriguing. The 1974 10 Sentimo belongs to the Flora and Fauna series, which was introduced in 1969 by the Central Bank of the Philippines. The goal of this series was to highlight the country's rich biodiversity and natural heritage. On the 10 Sentimo coin, you'll find the graceful representation of the wailing orchid, known scientifically as Vanda sanderiana. This flower, often referred to as the Queen of Philippine Orchids, was chosen for its beauty and its status as a national treasure. The obverse side of the coin features the seal of the Republic of the Philippines along with the text, Republica ng Pilipinas. This seal represented national pride and sovereignty, reminding citizens that even the smallest coin carried the country's official identity. The year 1974 marked its minting, making it one of the coins circulated widely during the height of the 1970s economic era. The 1970s were a turbulent period for the Philippines. Under the rule of Ferdinand Marcos, who had declared martial law in 1972, the nation faced both rapid modernization projects and deepening political unrest. Coins like the 10 Sentimo from 1974 were being used every day by Filipinos buying goods in markets, riding jeepneys, and purchasing basic necessities. This small denomination, though humble, was essential for day-to-day commerce. The choice of the orchid as a motif was not random. During this time, the government sought to project the image of a beautiful and bountiful nation, showcasing native flora and fauna. On coins was both an educational tool and a symbol of natural wealth. The wailing orchid was revered not only for its rarity but also for its representation of resilience and natural elegance. Minted in aluminum, the 10 centimo coin of 1974 was lightweight and inexpensive to produce. Its small size made it easy to carry in large numbers, though it was also prone to being overlooked or lost. Despite this, it circulated widely and formed part of the everyday jingling sound of coins in the pockets of millions of Filipinos. The economic environment of 1974 adds further depth to the story of this coin. That year, the Philippines was grappling with the effects of the global oil crisis, which triggered inflation and rising prices. While a 10 centimo coin may have seemed small, it played a role in completing transactions. 25 centimo coin of 1987, a small denomination that carries within it layers of history, culture, and national identity. This coin may look simple, but its story is anything but ordinary. By the time you finish this video, you'll see how 25 centimo coin minted in 1987 reflects not only the economy of its time but also the broader political and social landscape of the Philippines. The 25 centimo 1987 coin was introduced shortly after one of the most transformative events in Philippine history, the People Power Revolution of 1986, with the fall of Ferdinand Marcos and the rise of Corazon Aquino as the country's first female president. The Philippines entered a new chapter of democracy. This coin, minted under the new government, carried with it the spirit of transition and renewal. On its obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Juan Luna, one of the greatest Filipino painters and patriots. Luna's works, especially his masterpiece, Spoliarium, embodied themes of struggle, sacrifice, and hope for freedom. Having his face engraved on the coin was a powerful choice, connecting everyday courtesy with the cultural pride and revolutionary fervor of the Filipino people. The reverse of the 1987 25 centimo coin bore the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, an institution that was tasked with rebuilding economic stability. After years of turbulence under martial law, coins such as these were not only used for small purchases but also symbolized the government's attempts to create a sense of normalcy in a recovering nation. Made from copper nickel, the coin was durable enough for circulation across decades. In 1987, 25 centimo was a meaningful denomination. Jeepney fares, candies, and small market items often involved this coin, making it an everyday necessity for millions of Filipinos. The introduction of this coin also reflected a broader effort to redefine national identity. Gone were the Ang Bagong Lipunan inscriptions that had dominated coins under Marcos. Instead, the new coinage placed emphasis on heroes and symbols of pride that transcended political regimes. The coin's design carried a clean, straightforward aesthetic. Luna's portrait was sharp and dignified, surrounded by inscriptions that highlighted his name and the coin's value. On the reverse, the central bank's seal reinforced trust in the government's ability to stabilize the peso. The year 1987 was crucial for the Philippines. It was the time of rebuilding democratic institutions, writing a new constitution, and setting the direction for the country's future. Thus, every coin minted during this period represented not just monetary exchange but also the people's renewed hope for democracy. From a collector's standpoint, the 1987 25 centimo coin has become a popular item. While not extremely rare due to its mass production, uncirculated versions or coins preserved in mint sets are valued by numismatists because of their historical context. The 1987-5 centimo was also part of a wider coin series that included other denominations. Together, they reflected a national effort to restore order in the country's monetary system and to align with the ideals of the new government. For ordinary Filipinos, the 25 centimo coin was part of everyday survival. Students, vendors, and commuters alike exchanged these coins countless times a day. They may not have thought of Juan Luna or national politics at that moment, but every transaction carried within it a piece of the nation's story. This coin also reflected the broader economic conditions of the late 1980s: inflation, rising costs of living, and adjustments in wages all influenced how coins like the 25 centimo were used, while its value has eroded today due to inflation. In 1987, it had purchasing power that mattered. The choice of Juan Luna for the coin's design reinforced the role of culture in shaping national identity. By honoring an artist rather than a political leader, the coin reminded Filipinos that creativity and intellectual contributions were as vital as political victories. Collectors today often look for the 1987 25 centimo coin not just because of its face value, but because of the story it tells. It serves as a reminder of a time when the Philippines was navigating a delicate balance between its turbulent past and its hopeful future. The coin's durability also speaks volumes. Many of these coins, even after decades of circulation, still retain their design and can be identified clearly. This resilience mirrors the Filipino spirit itself, enduring challenges yet continuing to shine. It is also fascinating to note how small coins like the 25 centimo reveal broader narratives about economic history, while bills often attract attention due to their higher values. Coins such as this one demonstrate how ordinary people lived and transacted daily. The symbolism of coins cannot be overlooked. In 1987, the government used currency not only as a medium of exchange, but also as a way to strengthen national pride and unity. The choice of Luna's portrait was not accidental. It was a conscious effort to emphasize artistry and patriotism. Even today, when people stumble upon a 1987-5 centimo coin in their old drawers or collections, it sparks memories. For older generations, it recalls days of transition and hope. For younger collectors, it is a tangible link to the nation's democratic rebirth. The coin's presence in circulation for many years also reflects its utility. From sari-sari stores to jeepneys, this coin passed through countless hands, each transaction embedding it further into the story of Philippine daily life. Beyond the economic and political aspects, the 1987 coin also carries sentimental value. It is part of family histories kept by grandparents, given as baon to children, or stored as keepsakes. In numismatic history, 1981, this small but powerful piece of currency holds an extraordinary amount of history, connecting economics, culture, and national identity in ways that are often overlooked. By the end of this video, you will see how even a coin as modest as 25 centimo can carry the weight of a nation's story. The 25 centimo coin of 1981 was part of the Ang Bagong Lipunan coin series, introduced in the 1970s during the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos. The phrase Ang Bagong Lipunan, meaning the new society, was a slogan of Marcos' administration and symbolized his attempt to reshape Philippine society under martial law. Each coin from this series carried this inscription, embedding political propaganda into daily life. The obverse of the 1981 25 centimo coin features Juan Luna, one of the most celebrated Filipino painters and revolutionaries. Luna was not only a master artist, but also a patriot, whose works inspired national pride. His presence on the coin symbolized the blending of culture and politics, reminding citizens that the arts were just as vital to independence and progress as governance and economics. The reverse side of the coin carried the national seal and the inscription of the Central Bank of the Philippines. At that time, the central bank played a crucial role in stabilizing the economy, managing inflation, and sustaining the peso's value. Amidst global crises and economic pressures of the late 1970s and early 1980s, minted primarily in copper-nickel, the coin was durable, designed for long-term use in daily transactions. Its small denomination made it a staple in everyday purchases. Jeepney fares, candies, small household items, all carried out with the jingling sound of these coins in people's pockets. The year 1981 itself was politically significant. Marcos had just lifted martial law in January of that year, though he continued to maintain his firm grip on power. This made every object, including coins, part of a carefully designed narrative. The 25 centimo coin thus became a subtle reminder of both economic participation and political messaging. The decision to feature Juan Luna on the coin was meaningful. Luna's most famous painting, Spoliarium, had long symbolized Filipino struggle against oppression. By placing him on the 25 centimo, the government associated the coin with a sense of national pride, though critics would argue it was an attempt to mask authoritarian realities with patriotic imagery. For the everyday Filipino, however, the coin was less about politics and more about survival. The 25 centimo held enough value in 1981 to make a difference in daily life. Jeepney fares could often be paid in a combination of Sentimo coins, and small children frequently use these